For men who used to be creepy towards women and have since stopped, what was it that made you realize you were creepy that prompted you to change? Now let's read some comments. My brother used to catcall women all the time until once, when I was with him. He was driving, I was the passenger, and he yelled out to a woman in another car about how hot she looked. I turned to him and said very casually yet matter-of-factly, "You know, women hate it when men talk to us like that. It's not flattering, it's objectifying and disrespectful." He got quiet, his eyes glazed over, and I saw him taking in what I'd just said. It had simply never occurred to him that what he was doing could be seen as anything other than flattering. He never ever did it again, and I saw him grow into an extremely respectful person over the next couple of years. Sometimes all it takes is someone to make them aware. This is why women call on men to call out their guy friends for this type of behavior. Some men look at women as objects, and they don't take us seriously. But the same thing coming from your sister or one of their guy friends? Completely different reaction. There used to be a show where they'd plant a woman in the path of an known catcaller, and when he of course yelled out to her, she'd turn out to be his mother. The guys all seemed to insist it was a game, as they were being beaten with purses and heels. I had what I can only call a grand moment of realization. There was a girl who I was acquainted with, and she was obviously, obsessively, and weirdly into me. Being at the state of peak neckbed that I was desperate for a girlfriend. But for whatever reason I was not into the idea. I knew her too well, and although she was interested in me, I was not interested in her. I spent a long time thinking about whether I should start seeing this girl I wasn't attracted to. Then it clicked for me. Sometimes people just aren't into you. That's okay, and it's actually a good thing not to have to say yes to a relationship just because someone thinks they're qualified to date you. That moment back in 2009 changed my perspective so much, and I was able to realize that other people have and deserve their own autonomy. I offered my ex-creepy friend this jolly thought: how'd you like if you have a 6 feet built like a truck gay guy coming on to you for even 10 minutes non-stop, much less a whole ducking night, and refusing to believe you can't be persuaded to try his magical conversion duck out? Man, it took me recognizing I was addicted to alcohol, tobacco, pornography, and sex. I had been aggressive toward women and objectifying them since I was a child. I think this happened because I was exposed to sex at such a young age. I thought all relationships were supposed to be how movies and shows were, so I just emulated what I saw. Once I got sober, I realized how much of a monster I was and took the necessary steps to really implement change in my life. Lots of therapy, lots of crying, self-reflection as to why I was emulating that specific behavior, and quitting my addictions. It's been a journey, but I'm happy to say I've been in a loving, committed relationship with proper boundaries for a year now. Just stopping to say, you should be very proud. It takes a lot to not only see that but actively change. Virtual high five. Hey man, being ashamed means that's not who you are anymore, and that's something to be proud of. Remember that we aren't born with any social skills, none. Zero. We are completely reliant on our guardians and surroundings to teach us the proper way to act, and that's just for our community. We have to learn all over again if we enter into other cultures. If you were given skewed and bad examples of what's acceptable, you can't put all the blame on yourself for doing exactly as you were told, like anyone who wanted to fit in would. What matters is that you overcame your faulty social education, not that you made mistakes because of it. Congratulations on becoming sober. You sound like a great partner, because identifying you have a problem and getting help for it is way more than some people will do, even ones who had a correct social upbringing. Surprised I had to scroll this far down to find a story like mine. Congrats bud. Hey man, I posted something similar here and just wanted to say you're not alone. It is rough, and moving past those deep-rooted behaviors is something special. Much love. I know a guy who is creepy towards women. I shared a flat with him and another guy. The other guy used to bring his girlfriend over sometimes, and we became friendly. One night she confessed to me the other guy creeps her out, and she's a little scared of him. I had no idea he had that effect. I was surprised. But the other day I was at the park with him. A young blonde girl looked in her 20s, wearing black shorts and a shirt, came and started walking her dog in the park while we were talking. She's a nice looking girl. My friend turned like a lighthouse to face her and just stared and stared. In fact, wherever she moved, he turned to face her. After about 60 seconds of this, I was still talking to him. I got annoyed. Dude, will you stop staring at her? You're going to make her feel uncomfortable. What? You've been staring at her non-stop since she got to the park. You had a look, now look away and stop bothering her. I think you're being paranoid. She left then. And a few days later I caught him doing it again with another girl. Now, I like pretty girls myself, but you don't stare at them. And you don't stand up, stare in their direction, then turn to face them everywhere they go, like a radar or something. I tried to tell him he's being creepy, but he won. Listen. Creepy guys don't always realize they are creepy. And on listen either. He won't listen to you. It's gonna take an outspoken girl embarrassing the fuck out of him to make it stop. If staring isn't creepy, it's just embarrassing. For him, I mean. As a girl, staring says to me, I have no game, and am an incredibly uninviting, unfuckable guy. Edit. To my fellow ladies, please use discretion when calling out creepy men. I support standing up for yourself to the utmost degree, but please make sure that you have a safe escape first. You never know if these dudes will attack you, and though I value your outspokenness, I value your safety more. Be safe out there, and men, stand for US like the above commenter. When you see something, say something. Might help if you related to him in terms of if some man did that to you, you'd be creeped out too. A good rule of thumb is, if a strange man 6 inches taller than you, with double your muscle mass acted this way towards you, would you be uncomfortable or frightened? If yes, then don't do it. The way you described that behavior makes me almost think my creep is the same guy. It made me so uncomfortable that I went over to him and asked him what his issue was. Told him he was being gross, and he walked away with his head down. I can't understand how one doesn't find staring like that as creepy. Dude, you told him, he realizes. He just doesn't care and denies it because he wants to keep doing it. My friend turned like a lighthouse lol. Some people don't realize that a hot person simply being present isn't reason to drop what they're doing and dedicate 100% of their focus on said hot person. Like JFC is someone attractive walking by, all it takes to completely throw you off your game. I have a close friend like this who anytime he meets/encounters someone above average in attractiveness he has to talk about it. It's kind of funny how easily stimulated he is, but also kind of sad that seeing a hottie in the world is that big of a deal. In college I had a friend who was more attractive than I was, but whenever we'd go out, he'd never meet anyone. He never met anyone because he would stand in the corner and just stare at the attractive girls. Dude was a nice guy, just not the most outgoing. I'd just go around talking to folks normally, and I'd meet people that way. Some of them were women that things progressed with. My buddy never realized that just talking to girls normally and treating them as you would a guy is how you end up meeting someone. I've been in a relationship/married for a long time now, so I'm out of the game, but he's still single. Even now he gets uncomfortable talking about dating with girls in our friend group when they could be giving him useful advice. So don't stare and treat women like anyone else. They're like that. I hear stories like this, and I'm thankful that I get paranoid if I happen to coincidentally be walking behind a woman on the street for a while and might be unintentionally creeping her out. I'll just try to slow down or pass her as casually as possible to ease my mind that I'm not being a creep, even though we are just walking the same direction and have no intentions of any interaction. That guy has no sense of awareness. When I, as a guy, got fit at university, I found women would watch me walk across the open spaces. Not a lot, but enough to trigger my social anxiety. I can only imagine what it is like for women. Younger me was exceptionally indiscreet in my gazing. With age I've toned that down. Like looking at the sun. Jerry and George's motives are less admirable than don't creep her out, but the advice is essentially good. I didn't have any sisters and no female friends growing up. Girls were always this magic unknown entity who were capable of sex. So I was always awkward around them because I didn't know what to do or say. I didn't want to accidentally offend anyone or say something stupid, so I pretty much said nothing. My last year of high school, I spent more time around girls and realized that they really aren't that different than my male friends. They make the same dick jokes and stuff. They have the same goals in life. So slowly, I learned to relax a bit and treat women like normal human beings, just like everyone else. Thais. I'm so tired of women being this like mythical monolithic entity. Just the sentence how to talk to women drives me up the wall. As if you need some special code language. Bugmouth is an excellent show, and one of the things I like about it is it demystifies women, teenage girl puberty, and shows the girls as being pretty much just like the boys. Honestly, at the heart of all creepiness is just a failure to recognize women as humans just like you. Every man in this thread changed once they understood women were just people. Edit. Big myth lol. It worries me how men default to this attitude. It's weird to me that it's a shocking revelation to men that women are people too and have their own goals and own lives and own personalities and don't exist to serve sex to men. Where have we gone wrong as a society that we have to make active efforts to teach men women are people too? I don't have any brothers and I didn't have male friends for the longest time. Had my share of awkward crushes and the like as a high school kid, but I never once had to learn those boys are also human and had their own things going on that had nothing to do with girls or sex or me. I'm in my last year of HS and experiencing the same problem. I have friends that are women, one of them being my best friend, but I DK how to talk or interact with them sometimes. I know they're not that different from anybody else, but I choke and get nervous. It doesn't help that school has been online for the past 1.5 years, so physical interaction has been impossible. I'm also terrible at communicating over Discord. I have a deep, monotone voice. I've always relied on hand, body, and facial expressions to show my emotions, so I usually stay silent. I don't know, maybe it's just not women, but all people in general. I get nervous around everybody, even my closest friends and family. Growing self-awareness that I wasn't the center of the goddamn universe. Went through a chasing potential girlfriends too hard phase in my earlier adult years, including mistaking simple offers of friendship and work colleague status for actual interest. It wasn't stalking level and it never reached the point of discipline or even commenting, but it was probably to the point of being a little unprofessional and uncomfortable for the girl involved. That was decades ago, and I'm now with a company that doesn't tolerate that sort of thing. I went on a date with a guy who had stalked a coworker and been fired for it. He mentioned that he had been fired from a job and I asked what happened. He explained that he had used his security clearance as part of the IT department to find this woman's phone number and proceeded to text her explaining who he was and how he got her number. I told him it was kinda creepy and that he should have expressed his interest to her rather than sneaking around to find her number. After the date he ghosted me, then texted me months later saying he was desperate for a cuddle buddy. Yeah, no thanks. Was target of this at an independent game dev in the mid 2000s. Comforting to know that at least some people gain the self-awareness to figure it out. How did the self-awareness grow, if I might ask? I work in a male-dominated industry. Many of them commented to me, why are the nice ones like you always married? I flat out told them it's because single women can't afford to be too friendly because it will invariably be mistaken as romantic interest. Only married, off limits, women can be themselves without fear of having to reject their colleagues' advances. Talking to women, becoming friends with women, changing my circle of friends, growing up, learning empathy, and the final nail in the coffin was sobriety. What age did you go sober? I'm reaching that point in my life where drinking is no longer fun, assuming you're talking about drinking. I do it out of habit more than anything. However, I've been good about not senselessly drinking lately, and I feel so much better in the mornings. I'm thinking of riding this out into the spring and summer, and trying to leverage the extra motivation to be more physically active. Becoming friends with women is key. When you've never really gotten to know any woman outside your family, it's easy to start believing dehumanizing stereotypes. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell for more videos. Also like the video if you enjoy it.